Greetings, everyone. I'm running for the vacant Rock Hill Supervisor position as the only true independent candidate on Tuesday, November 3rd, to govern during the teenage years of this century. That's 16, 17, 18, and 19. Think about your teenage years. The 19th century teenage years, 1860 to 1890, had the Second Bank of the United States chartered. James Monroe was our 5th president who established the Monroe Doctrine. And the Harvard Law School was founded. The 20th century teenage years, 1916 and 1919, Woodrow Wilson became the first Democrat since Andrew Jackson to be reelected. World War I ended on November 11th. 1918, which is now our Veterans Day, and ratification of the 18th Amendment of the Constitution was prohibition in preparation of the 19th Amendment, the woman's right to vote. Must have made some people want to drink. You know, I've been a 25-year Stafford resident and a 20-year United States Air Force vet, and my campaign centers on total support for the $150 million Divergent Diamond Interchange connecting with those hot lanes. I'm a big proponent of Stafford County education, especially for these teenage years. Currently, we're ranked 79 out of 132. Not good. And this county needs affordable broadband, water and sewer infrastructure modernization, especially in the outdated Rock Hill district. My Republican opponents are both going to tell you that they've served on the county utility commissioners without a stipend in it. If I'm elected, I want to dissolve the utility commission and its administrative overhead. It's not in the 94 counties. I want to send a message to Richmond about representative government and local three-way elections like the one I'm in. And I humbly ask each of you watching to please vote for this retired vet on Tuesday, November 3rd.
Mr. Gibbons, you're next, please.
Thank you. It's quite a person to follow, 25 years. As a candidate for Rock Hill's district seat on the county board, I bring nearly over 25 years of experience, along with a deep commitment to delivering a first-class sheriff's department, fire and rescue, and an effective education system for all of our children that includes merited raises for teachers, an effective transportation system with a modernized utility infrastructure. I was very proud to serve on the utility commission all over, and I think we did a good job. We have the largest reservoir that just came online in Northern Virginia. The road to the Stafford's future should include shorter commutes, as well as long-term commitments to education excellence. One of the biggest problems I see is this: the express lane is a mess. It is not effective. You can't get off either end of it. It has helped the van pools and the buses and the car pools. But as far as getting the traveling public to get off on a Friday night, the fee goes almost up $10, $12, $14 just between Quantico and Dover. I'm proud to have played an active role in bringing projects such as the Stafford Regional Airport, Centerport Parkway, the University of Mary Washington Stafford campus, the Fred bus system to our region. I need your support on the election day to bring initiatives such as these to Stafford. My promise is to lead the Stafford County into a bright future without wasting 1 cent of taxpayer money. Together we can ensure Stafford's next generations has every advantage in a beautiful, prosperous place to call home. And I want to thank you very much for your support.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out. And I also want to thank the NAACP for hosting this forum. It's organizations such as this that make Stafford such an amazing place to live, and it's one of the reasons why I chose Stafford to call home back in 2001. I came to Stafford after the aftermath of a terrorist attack. I left the West Coast on September 10th, 2001. Really bad timing. But I came to a community that came together after that terrorist attack and subsequent sniper shooting and needing duct tape and plastic to cover our homes. And I realized what made this community so amazing was its people. And I love Stafford County. I'm raising 3 children here in Stafford. I'm the only candidate with children in Stafford County Public Schools, and I've also served on the Economic Development Authority for the last 8-9 years. I'm proud of the businesses we have brought to Stafford. We have a new high of 40,000 jobs here in Stafford County, and also during my tenure, we brought additional businesses on 610 and Route 17. We have a new hospital that provides life-saving medical services for our community. But economic development alone is not going to save Stafford. Even though they bring in more tax revenue than they utilize in services and do contribute to our growing needs for infrastructure, if we do not manage growth, which is my second priority, we are never going to get caught up on our infrastructure. And by managing growth, we need to update our comprehensive plan. We need to have a consistent rules of engagement for our developers. And we also need to be able to be transparent with those plans so the community understands why, where, and how we're putting our developments. And finally, my third priority is education. I'm the only candidate in this race that has children in Stafford County Public Schools, and I have a vested interest in ensuring that they continue to be successful. I want to ensure that we upgrade our antiquated financial systems that recently left us with $8.3 million in the bank. And I also want to make sure that our teachers are adequately paid. Thank you very much, and I look forward to the rest of this forum.
Okay, this will be the first of 5 questions. The order on this question will be Mr. Gibbons, Mr. Waldowski, and Ms. Maurer. I'm going to combine 2 questions that came in on our website. They both deal with traffic. Do you support the revised State Route 630 Courthouse intersection project? Will it serve county motorists and handle the projected growth in that area? So the first part of the question is the 630 Courthouse project. The next question, which is probably near and dear to everyone's heart, the terminus of the new Interstate 95 express lanes near Aquia Garrisonville exit has led to major backups in the morning and evening weekday commutes and has made Stafford County the new choke point for summer and fall weekends. As a supervisor, what will you do to work with local, state, and federal officials to solve this problem? So 2 pieces for transportation, specifically the 630 interchange and that magical terminus of the hot lanes.
I doubt the word magical. And I want to open up with a little rebuttal here. I'm a dad, and my child went to Stafford High School too, so the 630 is a brand new reversible diamond, and we all support that. The current one that they came in with eats up too much land, and it just doesn't do the right thing. So I'm in favor of that. Been in favor of reducing it and getting the money. Now the disaster that he's talking about magical. That express lane is a disaster. It's got to be fixed. And we got the ability to do the same thing that Fairfax did, as we can do on I-95. We can take the shoulders and make them an additional lane on the interstate. It doesn't take a complete engineering effort out of VDOT. The other thing is, I-95 is a national problem. This is not a local problem. This is the most traveled road there is on the East Coast in the United States. So to come back and say, Stafford, you got a local problem, it's crazy. This is a national problem, and the state has got to get the government in here to give us a hand. Now, the express lanes has got to go to Massaponax like it was originally designed for. They cut it off at 630 and jam up that interchange instead of 610. It's not solving the problem. So I got 10 seconds up. So anyways, shoulder lanes, extend it to Massaponax.
Ms. Waldowski.
I'll also give a rebuttal about the school board. I've never seen you at any of the school board meetings. I give about 3-minute speeches. Proactive education. If you listen to my opening remarks, my campaign centers on the total support for the $150 million divergent diamond interchange at exit 130. It's in Missouri. I was in Missouri last week for my son's 30th birthday, who also went to Stafford schools. My youngest used to ace the SOLs. That's why it was ranked so high, not 79 out of 132. This is I-95 is the Eisenhower system. As an Air Force officer, I learned that there are 1 mile straightaways on the Eisenhower system in our country. It was designed for Department of Defense when President Eisenhower finally got to be in office as the key decision maker. It's unrealistic to go to Massaponax. It's 17 miles. If you look at what's happened when Mark Warner was our governor, he came in and he was strapped down with the mixing bowl at Springfield. So we need to prioritize our money. We've got the money for the divergent diamond. We got Louisa County off I-64 with a divergent diamond, and it's a 21st century entity that's going to improve our conditions. It's not going to make it perfect.
Traffic. Well, I have traveled up and down 95. I used to work in Crystal City. I have a business here locally in Stafford County, and we can't get up and down 95, and we can't even get to and from our local businesses here. Traffic is a massive problem. The expansion of the roads on Courthouse Road is going to be helpful. We're taking them from 2 to 4 lanes, but we weren't able to take that all the way to Shelton Shop because VDOT has stripped us of the funds to take it from Winding Creek to Shelton Shop. Yet we've approved subdivisions beyond that point that was dependent upon VDOT paying for those roads. And this is where if we don't manage what we're doing here in Stafford County first, we are going to be consistently dependent on the state and the federal government to bail us out. And we can't continue to do that. We need to start by looking at our house here at home, number 1. But number 2, I'm excited that we're finally starting to clear trees to move forward that intersection at Courthouse Road. It's been a long time coming. And as far as the cluster that we have at 610, I'm excited to hear that they're going to move that exit lane just down about another 2 miles, I believe, so that should help a little bit with the traffic pattern. But VDOT has looked at using the shoulders as lanes before. That study was done, and they're not moving forward on that. So again, we need to get away from depending upon the federal and state government. I am excited that I have close relationships with the state and local officials. My friend Mark Dudenheffer is here in the crowd. And so working together, we ought to be able to handle this additional growth. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question deals with education. Education takes up a significant part of the budget. The Board of Supervisors votes on that budget, while the school board allocates the distribution of that budget in most cases. So the question is, are we spending enough on education? Is there alternative sources of education, online, homeschools, those kind of things? What do you feel about those? And where is education? Where are we? And where are you? And where is it going to take us in the future? So it's kind of an open-ended topic, but I want to see education, spending, and then paths toward education. And the first speaker is Ms. Maurer.
Well, education is a tough subject. And I am a big believer in making sure that we have several different types of education that's available to all of our students, because not all of our students are alike. Even in my own home, I've got one student who's going to VCU, and she is studying nuclear engineering and excited that 2 more classes and she can double major in physics. And while we cater to those advanced students, I also have another kid who just got into the automotive program, and that technical education has finally inspired him to be excited to go to school. So we need to make sure that we are providing an educational opportunities for all of our students, because they're not all the same. So that's number 1. But number 2, we need to ensure that the funds that the taxpayers are spending on education are being spent appropriately. I am dismayed that antiquated financial systems has led to $8.3 million left in the bank while we laid off 55 teachers. That concerns me. And as a small business owner and somebody with a background in accounting and finance, I know how businesses run, and I know how financial management controls work, and I will bring that to this board. We need to start spending more for education. We need to stop the overcrowding of our classrooms. We need to make sure our tax dollars are being spent appropriately, and we also need to make sure that our teachers are being paid appropriately. We are having a tough time recruiting here in Stafford County, and they're going to other jurisdictions, and without the teachers, it doesn't matter how much money we put towards education, we have no one to teach the kids.
Well, this is one of my passions. I've been an IBMer for over 30 years. I've been building a smarter planet for a long time. My current job, I am the technical lead of the Financial Management Information System. So I'm quite competent in terms of revenue and expenses, which is all it takes to keep things in order. At one time, we had no problem attracting and retaining high-skilled teachers in this county. I remember in second grade, teacher Mrs. Soper in 93 and 95 at Park Ridge. I went to open house, and it was one of the most highly skilled teachers I had ever seen. But one of the things that's happened now is the millennials, sometimes they're called the echo boomers. You know, they're the ones who are coming into the teaching professions. They're the ones who need some kind of housing investment. And this county doesn't have the attractions that's needed for them to even sustain, because the median income is approaching $100,000. That means half of you make over $100,000 and half of you do not. We don't need to live in a county where we have the haves and the have-nots. When I moved here being on active duty in the Pentagon, I came here basically for the school systems as opposed to going out west to Manassas in Prince William County.
I think it's just amazing that we blame the computer system for the problem with the school budget. You could take two pieces of paper and you can have an in and out. The second or third month, somebody must have known that the payroll wasn't at the right level. Now, Wendy says that we got to give the teachers, we got to take the teachers and make them what they should be paid, a reasonable rate, and we got to take care of them. When we brought Geico here, the first thing I did was go down there and talk to Mr. Buffett and said, what does it take for a community to bring good businesses in to an area like us? He said you have to have a professional school system, second to nobody in the state of Virginia. And we need that today to bring in industry. We've gone through sequestration, we've gone through Obama moving all these jobs down to Georgia and South Carolina. We need to get our industry back. You cannot run a county on property tax only. You've got to have a vibrant industry to bring in. And you can't do it without a good school system. So we got to be the #1 school system in the state. I'll do everything I can. I was the last supervisor that fully funded the school system, and I was very proud of that.
Heard already from the last group, because I think a lot of people think this is important. It relates to public safety and education. With so many public safety and education needs in Stafford, can you please explain your position on residential development proffers? Would you support or have you supported the recent lowering of proffers? And I'd like to add to that is, what do you think the developer should have to pay when they come into the county? Say again? I'm looking at all of you. I do that very thing. So proffers, where are you on this recent lowering of proffers, and how do we use proffers for public safety and education? And the first answerer on this question is Mr. Gibbons, which is probably why I was looking at you.
I thought it was my looks. I know Wendy, that's what he was. Anyways, I'm against lowering the profits. That's a fact. But also, I'm in favor of looking at impact fees, because not all residential growth pays profits. If you're in the rural area, you're A1 or agricultural, you don't pay it. It's only when the zoning occurs that you get the profit. And it's always negotiable. I'd rather have something that's fixed. To have a good managed growth, you have to have a CIP that's physically constrained. You can't build growth without building the public facilities to adequately fund and take care of this growth. It just can't do it. And we've been in this thing. So am I in favor of profit? I'm not a profit person. I'd rather have impact fees. But if you're going to have profits, make them adequate to pay for the utilities, the schools, libraries, and etc. And am I in favor of lowering it? No. It's just a game. It's like a chess game. Who has the peanut under the shell at the moment? But so I would like to have impact fees where you get the money up front, like Florida and some of the southern states do. The infrastructure gets put in ahead of time, and we have adequate facilities to close this transportation system we have in the county. It's just, we can't stand it no more. We gotta take care of it, and it takes dollars and efforts to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Mr. Maurer.
I'm going to read from you exactly what I gave to the Fredericksburg Area Council of Realtors. I told them that homeowners cannot be the sole revenue source of our local economy in the form of real estate property taxes. Since Stafford County has doubled in population since 1960, every 20 years. The first time the population doubled was 1900 to 1960. I fully support impact fees on new or proposed development, especially like Embry Mills, to pay all or a portion of the cost for providing public services. These fees would be a welcome source of revenue that is lacking and thus creating an economic burden on our school system. That's what really suffers. If you don't have education, you can't take care of those aspects. The unfortunate part is impact fees are not allowed in the Commonwealth of Virginia. But then again, why isn't common sense common in the Commonwealth sometimes? As far as development, I've always been a believer of treetops versus rooftops. Trees reduce pollution. We're a green county. We're only 280 square miles. 55 of it is federal land. We're only 225 square miles, folks. And Will Rogers said it one time, we're not making any more land, and God sure as heck is not making any more land anywhere in the world.
Bottom line up front, growth needs to pay for itself. And the way we need to do that is, or one of the tools that we have available to us is through proffers. The proffers have become this negotiating tool. They haven't been analyzed for years to ensure that we understand what it takes to educate a child. We understand what impact it's going to have on our road infrastructure. We understand all of the information is there, but we need to update our statistics to ensure that growth is paying for itself. And then we need to have a consistent rules of engagement in the application of those proffers. We need to make sure that when developers come in, they know what they're going to have to pay. And so this whole tool of negotiating gives me pause, because growth needs to pay for itself. Development needs to be consistent. We need to manage our growth. We need to update our comprehensive plan. And in all of that, we also add transparency so you as citizens understand what these developments are going to bring to our county. And I'm not going to use all of my time on this one because it's plain and simple for me that growth just needs to pay for itself.
The next question is somewhat related, and this combines two questions also off the webpage. Stafford now claims 40,000 jobs within the county. I think that's new jobs is what's on the sign. Local employment is high, yet people still spend hours a day commuting out of the county to earn a living. What kind of business expansion can you bring to the table? How will you make that happen? Okay, so that's the first thing, jobs, and how do you bring jobs to the county? The next piece is related. When it comes to new development in the county, what criteria will you consider before approving rezoning or making comprehensive plan changes? So jobs related to commuting, comprehensive plan, and zoning, your criteria. And Ms. Maurer, you're first on this question.
So we've hit a new high in Stafford County. We've hit 40,000 jobs. I'm quite proud of that as a member of the Economic Development Authority. I've been actively involved in helping new businesses come to this county. For example, I personally recruited Oshkosh Defense, which is currently located on Route 1. I've also recruited a number of other high-tech companies to come to Stafford County because that's the business that I'm in. I have a small business here in Stafford. I am in defense contracting, and we do have an opportunity to get people off of 95 to help reduce traffic and have them work here in Stafford. One of the ways that we're that we're doing this is we're working on a Stafford Tech and Research Park, where we marry education and we get our Stafford schools involved, therefore increasing our educational opportunities for our children. We are bringing in industry. We have a critical mass of industry up there at Quantico Corporate Center, and we're working with our government partners. We have an IA cyber range right there at Quantico Corporate Center where we can start testing and looking at new technologies in cyber and cyber defense. Additionally, I'm very active with the Wounded Warrior Cyber Combat Academy, where we retrain wounded warriors in order to provide them jobs on the cyber battlefield. Very excited about that and hope to transition that into a veterans to the cyber battlefield for all of these returning service members that are being downsized with our military currently. So jobs.
And zoning.
And zoning. So as far as zoning is concerned, and I'm out of time, but I think I hit that with the last one on comprehensive plan.
Mr. Waldowski.
I like being the middleman. It's kind of fun. Powerball number 19 is what made me the middleman. You know, Albert Einstein had a principle: express ideas as simply as possible without oversimplifying them. Well, let's deal with exactly the 40,000 jobs. I always say, what are the 40,000 jobs? Are they at Walmart, Target, Kohl's? Are they career jobs or are they just jobs? That's one of the key things you need to really look at. We have $120 million invested in the airport. That is where we need to exploit that infrastructure. I'm from Buffalo, New York. Westinghouse was right next to the Buffalo airport. That's where my uncles and aunts went to work. That's where they made irons and appliances. If we get the roads infrastructure in place, we can get to the airport and we can maybe bring some commercial to the airport and exploit that aspect. As far as the comprehensive plan, Mr. Gibbons has been in politics 25 years. It took 22 years to approve the comprehensive plan from 1988 to 2010. It's the 21st century. We're in the teenage years of the 21st century. I keep reminding you, this is a very important election.
You finally hit on something that upsets me very much. 40,000 jobs on the lot, like Kohl's and stuff. We have lost a tremendous amount of employment in the last 5 years. Our vacancy rate is almost 18% in the office complex in this county, and it's scary. And I don't see no effort of going out there and trying to get these big computer companies to move in there. Prince William just picked up one the other day with 200. 40,000 jobs is 1/4 of what the employment is in this county. So 3/4 of the county goes away to go to another job, to get jobs. So I'm for bringing the jobs back in. Right next door at Quantico, we're the cyber defense capital of the world. We're the law enforcement internet capital of the world. I work for the cyber command. I run my office. The gentleman in it runs the IA range. I know what the IA range is. I know what the FBI does, and all of the CID and OSI, all of the ones that are there. So we got the opportunity that only can come once in a lifetime at Quantico to become the cyber defense capital of the world. We have it within our reach, but we got to go out and get it, and we got to get the people start working back at home. The comp plan has already been started. It was started about 10 months ago. So, and I agree with Mr. Waldowski, we got to do something with the airport.
Okay, so we've talked about traffic, education, proffers, jobs, and zoning. We've heard ideas, we've heard some overlap, some divergence, but when people go to the polls on November 3rd, they really want to know who's going to get it done. You know, if you promise me A and you deliver B, I'm usually not too happy. So if you promise something tonight, If you believe in something, how are you going to get it done? Should you be the new supervisor for the Griffith-Wildwood area? And so walk through those things.
Or the Rock Hill, too.
For the Rock Hill district supervisor. At least you know where you are. So, that's good. So how are you going to get it done? How are you going to make it happen? So this goes to qualification, experience, and your plan to make things happen. And the first speaker on this question is Mr. Gibbons.
Well, I've always had the nickname Make It Happen. I do that at work. I do it with my job as supervisor. I've been on the planning commission, board of zoning appeals, utilities, and the board of supervisor. I have the talent, I have the whereabouts, I have the drive, I have the passion to make things happen. We didn't grow from not making a payroll in the early 80s to being one of the wealthiest counties in America without somebody making it happen. We had good boards, we had good boards that worked together. So this is a beautiful place to live. I love to live here, and it's a great place to bring people into. So I do have the talent. I was on BRE, any board you wanted to, was on in the region I was on. So I just have the whereabouts. I know how to work across the aisle with people to make things happen. So I think personally that I got the talent, I got the drive, and I just believe in the county. And in fact, I love the county very much.
Ms. Maurer.
Wow, an entire plan in 90 seconds. So you want me to speed read?
Yeah.
It's, as far as background and experience, I have been working within the county on various boards and commissions for the last 14 years. I understand how the county works. I understand what it's going to take in order to get us out of the traffic. And the fact that our schools are struggling, and the fact that our development seems to be not in appropriate places. And so I have a background in accounting and finance. I've run small companies. I have been working within the county. And so, yes, I have a significant background in order to make it happen. And but what I also bring to the table is a new energy and a new vision. Stafford County is at a crossroads. We're not the same Stafford County we were 16 years ago or 20 years ago. We have new challenges, and we need people who understand those challenges, who are in the day-to-day with the schools, and in the day-to-day with our businesses, and in the day-to-day up and down 95. And that's what I bring to this race. I bring new energy, I bring new focus, but I also bring a significant amount of experience working within the county, with other elected officials, and that's what differentiates me in this particular race. I look for your support, and I hope to see you at the polls on November 3rd.
All right, I get the last word. I like that. This is a unique election because we have three distinct generations here. I'm the baby boomer. I got someone on the left of the baby boomer, I got someone on the right of the baby boomer. So we do need new faces in this. When I go to school meetings, I bring up to kids all the time how important it is to get a PhD. It's called a public high school diploma. That's the most important educational landmark that you can get today. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. I'm the first to get a college education. I'm the one who took 11 years to get a bachelor's degree, and the Air Force directed me into computing and information sciences. I have a master's degree that's published in operations research. That's why I have a passion about redistricting, highway systems, all the aspects. I sat on Interstate 44 and counted cars and put them in a simulation system. So I really know the numbers of what's going on. I'm the one who's explained to each of you the growth of this county, what's happened in the last 60 years. We can't afford to double in 2020. We don't have the road infrastructure. We need someone who's got qualifications in those aspects of what's going on. I've been a project manager of major projects. When I was in the Pentagon, I was the program manager of a $92 million modernization program for the Air Force. So I bring a fresh look and a new set of leadership to the 21st century.
We'll have closing statements. We'll have closing statements from each of the candidates in the following order: Mr. Waldowski, Mr. Gibbons, and Ms. Maurer. 2 minutes.
We had an issue with that in the first race.
It's called opportunity, Eric, and now we know that even those in Hartwood know where the Rock Hill District is. I do want a special thanks to the NAACP and all those who are involved in hosting this event. It's a great job, it's a great forum, it's a great opportunity to come out. Once again, I want to reiterate from my opening statement, I am a true independent conservative candidate. The word independent's got 11 characters in it, that's a prime number. Remember, Republican only has 10 letters in it. And we have 2 of them in this race, and that's binary for those who know zeros and ones. I am a baby boomer born in the 1950s, and once upon a time, my opponents were the future, and once upon a time, my other opponent will be the future. But right now, I am the future. 2 JFKs formulated my unique and centered approach politically. Our 35th president, who was assassinated when I was an 11-year-old boy. He was a conservative before Ronald Reagan, and I encourage each of you to read the book JFK Conservative by Ira Stoll, published in 2013. My second JFK is Jack French Kemp. He is my representative in Congress from 1971 to 89. And while I was a New York State resident on active duty, he became the housing secretary under George H.W. Bush and ran as the vice presidential nominee with Bob Dole, another great veteran and a politician who governed for the people. Didn't serve them, he governed. I'm in this race to govern during the teenage years, 16, 17, 18, and 19. This job is subject to another 3-way election. I brought it up earlier. 2 of our current supervisors are on the board. They're not true representatives. They've been in 3-way elections. Thomas Jefferson said, to be a representative, you need to win 50% of the vote plus 1. I want to bring this up to Richmond. I want to get this changed so locally we have better representation.
I again want to thank the NAACP for setting this up and the value that you bring to the community. On the 350 committee, we had such leadership from you in the back of the scene that we'll never forget. But I've had a business in Stafford since 1975. I was one of the owners of the largest bus company east of the Mississippi. We had 150 coaches. We moved 5,000 people one way, and we were the largest one on the East Coast. I was responsible on the National County Association of Counties to roll out the 511. I was one of 2 members of the counties and 1 mayor that represented the electorate. And I was very, very proud of that. And I know I was on VRE. I was past chairman of VRE. I even had a locomotive recently with my name on it, so I had my own choo-choo run up and down the rails now, so I was pretty proud of that. So we brought in VRE, we brought in the commuters. No transportation. I've been on every transportation board there is in the region. I was the governor for Stafford to be on the BRAC. Court was represented the senator in Connaughton, represented Prince William. So I know what it takes to govern. And I just can't seem to go back to reemphasize, this is a great place to live. And we've got problems, but we can't come to be in the top 10 counties in America, in the top 20 counties to live in without doing something right. So I think that's where my qualifications come from. Thank you.
So I'm amused to be the young whippersnapper in this race. I think my teenage children would disagree. They called me old all the time. Anyway, this is an important election. All politics is local. And who represents you in the Stafford Rock Hill district is also incredibly important. And I bring a lot of experience, both within local government and also within small business. I also bring a lot of personal experience, having 3 children go through Stafford County Public Schools, living here within the district, traveling up and down 95. I understand and I get it. And what I want to do is make sure that Stafford continues to be a great place to work, live, and play. And in order to do that, we're going to need to pull together as a community and come up with a vision for Stafford County through the comprehensive plan and then work that plan. That's how we're going to manage our infrastructure and ensure that our infrastructure is adequate in order, before we approve new subdivisions or ensure that those new subdivisions are going to bring the adequate infrastructure in order to support them. We've been seeing this county grow over the last 14 years that I have lived here. And some growth has been good, not all growth has been good. But if we were to plan better and ensure that that growth brings in the adequate infrastructure, we can continue to make Stafford County a great place to work, live, and play. And that's what I want to do for the constituents, both within Stafford County and within the Rock Hill District. I want to thank the NAACP for hosting this forum. Once again, it's been an honor to converse with both of my opponents and with you as the community. I'll be in the back if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Please remember to vote on November 3rd. This is an important election, and it's going to take every vote, and every vote is going to count. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.
All of our candidates, please stand and thank our Rock Hill candidates again.